Before we get started on the nephron, it is important you have background understanding of the structure and basic function of the kidney. Blood is transported into the kidney through the renal artery and out through the renal vein. The kidney consists of the cortex, ureter, renal pelvis, and the medulla. The kidney is part of the osmoregulatory and excretory systems. Its job is to filter the blood and regulate the osmotic pressure in the body of mammals. Kidneys filter the blood through nephrons, and the harmful products that are removed from the blood are excreted in the form of urine. The nephron consists of the glomerulus and Bowman's capsule, the proximal convoluted tubule, the loop of Henle, the distal convoluted tubule, and the collecting duct, which leads to the renal pelvis. Each part of the nephron plays a vital role in the filtering of the blood. The nephron is the functional unit of the kidney and is responsible for removing waste from the blood and excreting it from the body. Urine is formed in the nephron, which spans the outer cortex and the central medulla. The nephron has capillaries wrapped around it entirely. This allows for selective movement in and out of the blood through filtration, reabsorption, and secretion. The glomerulus is a bundle of capillaries enclosed by the Bowman's capsule. Almost all wastes, except for proteins due to their large structure, are filtered out in the glomerulus. It has porous walls which allows smaller molecules to filter into the Bowman's capsule. This process is called glomerular filtration. The glomerular filtration rate is an important indicator of kidney function. The Bowman's capsule is a cup-like sac at the beginning of the proximal convoluted tubule. The Bowman's capsule is responsible for collecting the filtrate from the blood in the glomerulus. Filtration occurs most prominently between the Bowman's capsule and glomerulus. The proximal convoluted tubule efficiently regulates the pH of the filtrate by exchanging hydrogen ions in the interstitium for bicarbonate ions in the filtrate. It is also responsible for active secretion of organic acids and some poisons. The proximal convoluted tubule is the first element of the renal tubule, and it lies in the cortex of the kidney. It is responsible for active reabsorption of glucose and amino acids, passive reabsorption of a fraction of the bicarbonate, potassium, phosphate, and calcium ions, alongside active secretion of ammonia and creatine, which is used to access full function of the kidney. The loop of Henle is a U-shaped tube, and it contains different segments in which to perform different functions, divided into the thin ascending limb, the thick ascending limb, and the thin descending limb. The first segment of the loop, the thin descending limb, is permeable to water, allowing passive reabsorption to occur. As the filtrate moves through the thin ascending limb, sodium chloride diffuses out of the tubule into the surrounding tissue of the salty medulla. In the thick ascending limb, the tubule wall can affect further removal of salt even against the concentration gradient in an active transport process. The distal convoluted tubule actively reabsorbs sodium chloride. It is relatively impermeable to water, but in the presence of antidiuretic hormone, its permeability to water increases, making urine concentrated. It secretes ammonium and hydrogen ions. The distal convoluted tubule is the shortest segment of the nephron, spanning only about 5 mm in length in humans. However, it plays a critical role in a variety of homeostatic processes, including sodium chloride reabsorption, potassium secretion, and calcium and magnesium filtration. The collecting duct reabsorbs solutes and water from filtrate. It connects with the nephron tubules in the cortex. The walls of the tubules are composed of microvilli, as well as cells with hair-like projections known as sensory cilia, that play a role in its response to hormones. Hydrostatic pressure helps to move secretions through the tubes. The collecting duct consists of two narrow tubes in the kidney that concentrate and transport urine from the nephrons to larger ducts in which urine gathers until it flows through the renal pelvis and the ureter to the urinary bladder. To recap, the nephron is the functional unit of the kidney. It filters, secretes, and reabsorbs nutrients, water, wastes, and salt from the blood. The nephron plays a critical role in the maintenance of homeostatic conditions in our body. It separates water, ions, and small molecules from the blood, filters out wastes and toxins, and returns needed molecules to the blood. The active and passive processes undertaken in the kidney maintain homeostatic balance of blood pressure, blood composition, and removal of wastes.